Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beginner's Flow. Happy Monday. Hello, Maddie. Welcome. We're here a lot earlier today because my kittens are going to the vet tonight for their 1-year needles. Thank you. I was wearing this shirt all day and I was like, this looks cute. I'm gonna leave it for yoga. Oh yeah, and I have Pokeball socks. So festive. Yeah. I made the mistake of going into the game store when Pokemon Violet came out and they had like packs of Pokemon socks. And yeah, I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased with my purchase. We'll get started in a couple minutes. What do you think, Alice? It's a good thing you're here because we're doing yoga. And you are Yoga Master Alice. It's so cold in the house today. There's like a little vent over here in the corner and Neil's just laying on the vent letting the heat come up under his body. Yoga Master Alice. We'll get started in just a minute. We're going to be focusing on feet and ankles today and a little bit of calves. Don't knock over my blocks, Alice. So we're going to be focusing on feet, ankles, a little bit of calves. If you have 2 blocks, they're always great to have, but not necessary. Yeah, we had to turn our heat up yesterday too, because we were like, why are we sitting here fucking freezing? Maybe I shouldn't swear on here. I'm not sure how YouTube feels about that, but it got so cold outside all of a sudden. I feel bad though. I have to take the cats out of the house to go to the vet. Their little bodies have probably never felt such cold. Heat is expensive. I was resistant to turn it up, but I was wearing so many layers that it felt like it had to happen. All right, 5 o'clock. Let's get started. We're going to start lying down on our backs. We'll plant both feet up comfortably close to your butt, about hip width distance apart and parallel. And right away, we'll send that right leg up towards the sky. This leg can have a little bend in it, or it can be fully straight, depending on how you're feeling right now. And the hands are going to clasp either around the thigh, calf, or the foot, starting with a pointed toe, and then moving into a flex. So we're going to keep switching here, moving through some points and flexies, through the foot, waking up the hamstring. Great, let's go here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ending with a flex in the foot, bending into this right knee, bringing it towards the outside of the torso. This right hand will then grab either a pant leg, big toe, or outer edge of the foot for your half happy baby. Keeping a nice strong flex into that right foot, and for a little counterbalance here, you can also roll to the outer edge of the left foot. I love half happy baby. Sometimes even more than full happy baby. I like the counterbalance of this outer edge. We'll stay here for one more full breath. Great, rolling back to the bottom of the left foot and release the right. We'll plant that back on the ground and go right into the other side, sending the left leg up. Just like on the other side, this leg can be straightened, or you can have a slight bend in it. Reaching with the hands, just avoiding that knee area to grab an accessible area, and starting to move through some points and flexes. Apparently I shouldn't wear my hair down on my yoga mat. Alice is trying to eat it. I'm sorry you haven't had dinner yet, Alice, but My hair is not on the menu. Keep moving through these points and flexes. You can take these nice and slow if you like, or you can move with each breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ending with a nice flex in that left foot, bending into that knee, bringing it towards the outside of the torso. Left hand will reach up and grab where it did on the other side. Pant leg, big toe, or outer edge of the foot for your half happy baby. If you did so on the other side, rolling to the outer edge of that right foot, finding your counterbalance. Take one more full breath here. Great. And then slowly rolling back to the bottom of that right foot and release the left. We'll hug both knees in towards the chest. Rest the hands on the shin bones. Taking some circles with the knees, moving into the hip socket in one direction. And in the other direction. Oh, my hip cracked so loud there. Great, last 3, 2, and 1. Finishing with those knees pulled up to the chest. We'll slip the hands into the knee pits, contract the cord around the spine, and take a little rock up to a seat or push yourself off to one side and roll it up. And we'll come right to a seated pike. So sending those legs out long in front of you. I'm just wiggling back to make sure my blocks aren't blocking the view here. So my feet are still about hip width distance here. They're not squished together in the center. Sitting up nice and tall. You can rest the hands beside you or wherever's comfortable, heart center. I'm going to put mine by my side. Starting with a strong flex into both of the feet. And then we're going to move them into a point, pointing them straight out in front of you. From here, taking an external rotation with the legs, so the tops of your feet are pointing out to the opposite sides. Great, holding that and then taking a flex with the feet to draw a big circle back to where they started. So point, externally rotate, flex, draw a half circle back to where they started. Yeah. Working through the ankles. I love a good pointed toe. So take a couple breaths and move through a few of these, and then we will change directions in a moment. Last 2. And last 1. Meeting back in that flexed foot position, we'll take this into the other direction. So from the flexed foot, externally rotate out to the sides as far as you can, and then we'll take a point with that toe, drag it down so your toes are pointing right in front of you, and then flex, pull the toes back towards your face. Yeah. So from the flex, externally rotate, point, draw it back straight in front, flex, pull it back towards the face. Yeah. These are some of my favorite point warm-ups to use for aerials or really anytime. They feel nice, especially if you spend a lot of time on your feet. Great, keep going here for 3. For 2, and 1. Great. Relaxing the feet for a moment. Bringing the hands behind the knees, we'll gently pull those feet back to those legs back to a bent position. Gently leaning back onto the sit bones. To lift one of the feet off the ground, I'm lifting my right. Straight out in front of me here with a bent leg, almost like I'm going into a boat pose, but just with one leg at a time here. drawing some circles through the ankles. Feels like no matter how much I do this, it sounds like Rice Krispies in my ankle joint. Let's go for 3, 2, 1, switching the direction. Why do my ankles already feel tired? Go for 3, 2, and 1. Let's switch feet, so lower those right toes to the ground. Left foot is gonna hover off and starting to move into some circles through that ankle. Try and draw these nice, big and slow, working through your full range of motion. For 3, 2, 1, switching directions. Something to be mindful of here is that your chest isn't collapsing. We're trying to stay up tall here because we are going to give our boat a shot in a moment. Last 3, 2, 1. Great. Bring that toe back to a point. So these left toes are pointing straight out in front of you. Hands are still behind the knees. See if you can hover that right foot up off the ground, maybe bring it up in line with the left, drawing the shoulder blades together. So we keep a nice long spine here for our boat pose, contracting the core for 3, 2, 1. Great. Lower those feet back to the ground. We'll take bottoms of the feet together, knees wide for a Baddha Konasana butterfly stretch. Hands can rest on the ankles here, sitting up nice and tall with an inhale. Exhaling to hinge forward, trying to keep a long spine here. So like in our boat, drawing the shoulder blades together, leading with the chest. If you find it's kind of hard to avoid rounding, sticking a block under the butt, ooh, this block's a little small, can help you find a little more space. So wherever you are in that fold, we'll take 2 more full breaths here. And then roll it all the way back up to a nice tall seat. Gently close the legs and tuck them off to one side. Coming to tabletop position, all fours, hands and knees, wrists stacking up under shoulders, knees under hips. Spreading the hands nice and wide and taking an external rotation through the shoulder, shining the elbow pit forward. And from here, tucking the right toes, we'll extend back through that leg and start shifting forwards and backwards. So we're getting a little stretch into the calves here, as well as the wrists. If you find this a little much on your wrists, you can take them a step forward so the shoulders are not planching as far past the wrist. Or if you want a little more, you can take the hands closer so your shoulders are planching quite far past the wrist. I'm going to stay neutral for 3, 2, 1. Great. Rebend into that right knee, replace it in your tabletop. Tuck left toes, extend back through that leg, and starting to move into those shifts. Oh my God, Dexter is literally eating my light. Keep shifting, keep shifting. Get out of here, you rascal. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Slow those to a stop and left foot steps back towards our tabletop position, keeping both toes tucked as you sit back onto the heels, broken toe pose. This is one of my favorites, but I know a lot of people hate it and it is very uncomfortable for the bottoms of the feet. Something I like to do when I get here is take a check that my very small pinky toe is working with the rest of the toes and isn't kind of like stuck and just jamming into the ground, because that's uncomfortable. We'll do a little spine wrist movement while we're here with an inhale, bringing the hands to heart center. Exhale, interlace the fingers, press the palms away around the spine. Inhale, take the arms up overhead, keeping that interlace. And exhale, release, circle out the wrists all the way down. And we'll do just one more like that. Stay on those toes. Inhale, hands heart center. Exhale, interlace, press it away. Inhale, take it up overhead. And exhale, release, circle in the opposite direction than you did the first time. Great. Bringing that all the way back down. Let's come back forward to our tabletop position. You can untuck the toes, take a little tap out with the feet after all that tucking. And then we'll retuck the toes, and with an exhale, take the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Once you arrive here, take a moment to pedal out through the feet, move the hips side to side. Continuing to think about that external shoulder rotation, spiraling the elbow pit forward, gripping into the fingertips with nice strong hands. Take 2 more breaths here. And with the next inhale, rising up onto the toes, we'll turn the heels together, toes wide. So we're coming to, I think this is our first position in dance. And with an exhale, try to drive the heels back towards the ground. A little bit of a different variation on your down dog. We'll try 2 more lifts and lowers. Inhaling up on the toes, heels stay connected. Exhale, driving the heels towards the ground, re-elongating through the legs. 1 more like that. Inhale on the toes. Exhale, heels go back. Great. Bringing those feet back to where they started in your down dog. Inhale on the toes once more. Exhale, bend the knees, take a peek to the top, and inhale, stepping forward. We'll come right up to a halfway lift, bringing the hands to the shins, to the thighs, or to your blocks, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. And exhale to fold. Great, nice soft knees. Inhale, roll it up to standing. Take a sweep with the arms up overhead. And exhale, arms by side body. Great. We're going to take a little top of the ankle stretch here. So putting the weight towards the left leg. This right leg is going to step back behind you, pressing onto the top of the foot. Hands can come to the hips or heart center. I want to try and keep bumping this right hip forward so we're not splaying open. And you can kind of play with the positioning of this right foot. If you want it a little closer and more of a bend in that leg, so it's gentler, or taking it a little bit further back, maybe squeezing the glutes, pressing the hips forward for a little back bend. We'll stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stepping that right foot back where it started. We'll go right into the other side. Left leg steps back. Maybe this side feels similar, maybe it feels completely different. So you can take a moment to play with your positioning of that foot. Then we'll stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stepping the left foot back up next to the right, hip width distance. Rising up onto the toes, heels lift and lower. Nice and slow. Lift, lower. We're going to lift for 10 and 9 and 8. Last 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We're going to hold the last one, last 2, and last one. Hold it up on the toes for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Releasing the heels back towards the ground. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips, take it down. Inhale, lengthen everything out, finding your halfway lift. And with an exhale, we're going to plant the hands, bend the knees as much as you need, and stepping the left foot back to a low lunge. Great. Right, that knee can lower to the ground. And rising up to stack shoulders over the hips. You can grab blocks, but you totally don't need them here. In your lunge, we're thinking about squaring those hips with the front of the mat, tucking the tailbone to open through this left hip flexor. And with an exhale, we'll pull it back to a half split, straightening through this right leg and taking a flex with the foot, pulling the toes towards the face. Okay, we'll take a couple rounds here. Inhale forward and exhale, pull back. Great, take one more. Inhale forward and exhale, pull it back. This time holding your half split position. We're gonna take some windshield wipers with this right foot. So tapping the outer edge to the ground and then the inner edge to the ground. Kind of muddling into the hip socket here. This is an exercise I forgot about until recently, and it's so nice. We'll go here for 3, 2, 1. Recentering that right foot. Inhale back forward to your low lunge. You can tuck the blocks back up to the top, plant the hands, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and step the left foot up next to the right. Great. We're gonna go right into the other side, stepping the right foot back and lowering that knee to the ground. I guess you could have left your blocks under near your hand position, but we can re-grab those. Inhaling up here, taking a moment to find your alignment. And with your exhale, we'll pull it back to our half split Ardha Anumanasana, straightening through the left leg, taking a flex with that foot. Great, 2 more rounds like that. Inhale forward and exhale, pull it back. 1 more, inhale forward and exhale, pull it back. Great, holding this half split position. We're gonna move into those windshield wipers, tapping the outer edge and then the inner edge to the ground. Great, keep going here for 3, for 2, and 1. Recenter that left foot. Inhale forward to your lunge. We'll tuck those blocks back up to the top, replant the hands, tuck the back toe, lift that knee, and we'll just step this left foot back to a plank and then take the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Great. Take a breath here, pedal out through the feeties. We're gonna do one more round of those heel connected down dogs. So with your next inhale, rising up on the toes, turning so the heels connect, toes are wide, and exhale, driving those heels towards the ground. 2 more like that. Inhale up on the toes. Exhale, drive the heels back. Last one, inhale toes. Exhale, drive the heels back. Great, inhale up on the toes once more. Pivot those feet back to your parallel position. Take a breath in. And with the next exhale, right foot is gonna pick up and step up between the hands. Keep that back knee lifted. Inhale, rising up to your high crescent. Great, arms can reach up overhead here. Take one more breath in. With our exhale, driving through this right leg, we're gonna step all the way up to a single-legged mountain, pulling this left knee in towards the chest, and then take a strong flex with that left foot. You can relax the arms down to hips or heart center as you soften into the right knee, and then cross left ankle over the right thigh. Balance. Moving into our standing figure 4 stretch. Try to keep a long spine here, draw those shoulder blades together, knit the ribs together so we're strong through the core. Try to find a fixed point to hold your balance. We're gonna stay here for 2 more breaths and then move into our tree pose. Maybe I'll turn to face you. Yeah, that'll be easier for tree. Last breath in here. And breath out. Great. Re-extending through that right leg. The bottom of this left foot is either going to come to the inside of the thigh, the inside of the shin, or the toe can touch the ground here. We have a nice external rotation through this left hip for your tree pose. I like to bring my hands to heart center for this one. Thinking about pressing equally through all corners of that right foot, bringing this left knee out to that left side. And we don't want that foot to be pressing on the knee area. So either above it or below it for 3, 2, 1. Release. Step that left foot down next to the right. Maybe give it a little shake, a little pedal out. And then inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips, take it down. Inhale, lengthen, finding your halfway lift. And exhale to fold, plant the hands, step it back to your plank, and then take the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths here, and then we'll give that a shot on the other side. All right, we're here for one more breath in. With an exhale, left foot picks up, steps between the hands, and inhale, rise up to find your high crescent. Arms can sweep up overhead, taking a moment to check your alignment, square those hips, tuck that tailbone. We'll take one more inhale here. With an exhale, driving through this left leg to step all the way up to your single-legged mountain, right knee hugs in towards the chest, and then taking a strong flex with that foot, softening in to the left knee, crossing right ankle over left thigh. You can take, I like my hands to heart center here, but you can also take them to hips or up overhead. Thinking about actively opening this right knee to prep for our tree pose. Great, we're here for one more full breath in. And full breath out. Great, to come into our tree, we'll re-elongate through this left leg. Bring the bottom of this right foot either to the inside of the thigh, the inside of the calf, or you can have that toe touching the ground. But we want to think about actively opening through that hip, pulling that right knee open to the right side. Hands can come to heart center or wherever is comfortable for you. You've got so many options. Finding a fixed point to hold your balance for 3, 2, 1. Great, release. Stepping that right foot down next to the left, and you can shake that off. And with the next inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, take it down. Inhale, lengthen everything out, finding your halfway lift. And exhale to fold, plant the hands, step it back to your plank, and then we'll lower those knees to the ground. Great. This time, toes untucked. We'll sit back on the heels in a kneeling position. I've got one more little stretch for the top of the ankles before we take it to the ground. Maybe this is enough of a stretch for the front of your ankles and you want to stay here, you can. Or you can take right hand to right knee and gently draw this right knee up just a bit to add a little bit more stretch through the front of that ankle. I like to take a peek and make sure my feet are pointing straight back. They're not sickled out to the left or sickled to the right. And you give that a shot on the other side, bringing left hand to left knee. Check to make sure that foot is straight back and gently lifting that up off the ground, stretching through the front of the ankle. If you have, I'm trying to think of a way to put this. If you just want a lot more and you're feeling like being very evil to the top of your ankles today, you can grab both, lean back and try and lift both, but I'm not gonna do that today. All right, let's take it down to the ground, come forward, tuck those legs off to one side, and we'll roll it down onto the ground for our last few moments. You can hug those knees in towards the chest, taking them wide, hands come to the shins. You can take a rock side to side here. I like to have a point through my feet here. Or you can move into your happy baby, flexing the feet, showing the bottoms of those feet to the sky, reaching up to grab a pant leg, big toes or outer edges of the feet. It can feel nice to rock a little side to side here, a little low back massage. If you're feeling stretchy, you can also play with extending through a leg or both in this grounded straddle. We're going to finish it off with one more little twist. We're going to release this left leg, send it long, hug the right knee into the chest, and then with an exhale, taking right knee across body towards the left, coming into a supine twist. I like to reach my arms out to a T here, making sure that right shoulder stays grounded. We'll take 2 breaths here and then move into the other side. Whenever you're ready, you can roll over to the other side, sending the right leg long, hugging the left knee in, and then taking that left knee across the body towards the right. You're blocking my view, Alice. To come into your twist on the other side for the next 2 breaths. Whenever you're ready to come out of there, you can roll back onto the back, sending both legs long to move towards your Shavasana. However, it is 5:30, so I'll do my little thank yous now. Feel free to stay in your Shavasana as long as you like, but thank you so much for joining me this morning, this evening. It's pitch black outside. And we are here every Monday. Normally we're here at 7 p.m. AST, but it was 5 today because 2 of my cats are going to the vet tonight for their yearly checkup. And yeah, if you enjoyed this class, please check out the link below for my Patreon. We have multiple live classes there per week. This week we have at 6 p.m. AST on Thursday, and all levels flow, and 6 p.m. Friday, a splits focused flow. So that will be a great time. Thank you for joining, Linda and Maddie. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hope your ankles feel nice and mobile. Mine feel remarkably tired. And a moment of focus on the cat tax. Yes. Yay. Thanks for joining. All right, I'll see you guys next Monday. Have a great rest of your day. Alice is very talented. She's Yoga Master Alice. Awesome. Thanks for joining. Bye, everybody.